a lesson on the sum product of the roots and how to find a discriminant. Now, the concept behind roots and discriminant is actually a pretty long concept. I'm not going to go into that in this video today, but I will briefly talk about what roots are. If you were to graph a quadratic equation or any other nonlinear equation, and you were to determine where that graph crosses the x-axis, so in this case it crosses here and it crosses here, you would have two x values. If you were to add those two x values together, you would find the sum of the roots, because these are the roots. And if you were to multiply these two x values, you would get the product of the roots. And the discriminant has to do with a far more complicated subject that I'm going to talk about in this video today, but I will help you learn how to calculate it. Anyways, going back to this, to find the sum of the roots, there's a formula, and it is negative b over a. To find the product of the roots, it's c over a. And to find the discriminant, it's b squared minus 4ac. And just for a side note, b squared minus 4ac is the part that's inside the radical of the quadratic equation, if you're familiar with that. B squared minus 4ac is the radical part of the quadratic equation. All right, so we have three equations here. We have our formulas here. We have negative b over a, c over a, and b squared minus 4ac. Well, what the heck does that mean? Well, all you have to do is make your equation look like this: ax squared plus bx plus c. In that case, a has to be 3, b has to be 2, and c has to be negative 6. Make sure you include that negative sign with it, so it's negative 6. All right? And all you have to do then is just plug in the numbers. So it's negative b, so negative of 2, which would make it negative 2, divided by a, which is 3. So my answer is negative 2/3. What does that mean mathematically? If I was to graph this equation, and this is not the graph of that equation, but let's just say it was. If I was to graph that equation, the 2 points that it crosses the x-axis, if you added them together, it would be negative 2/3. All right, so let's do the product. C over a. Well, c is negative 6, so it's negative 6 divided by a, which is 3, and negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. So the product of the roots is negative 2. What does that mean? If you figure out where those two x values were and you multiply them together, it would be negative 2. And let's do the discriminant. Well, it's b squared, so 2 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 6. All right. So 2 squared is 4. And we're going to subtract a negative at some point, so we're actually going to end up adding because there's two negatives there. And we're going to have to do 12 times 6, which is 72. And you just add those two together. And 72 plus 4 is 76. And that is the discriminant. I will briefly talk about the discriminant. If this number is positive, it tells you that the graph crosses the x-axis twice. If this number is 0, it tells you that the graph crosses the x-axis once. And if this number is negative, it tells you that it has at least one non-real root. All right. Hope that helps you. These three equations, these three formulas, very important in higher level mathematics. You do need to memorize them. Good luck with that trick.